was a kid, I dreamed of having a Fender guitar. And I saw all my favorite guitar heroes playing Telecasters on.
The story of Marty Stuart and Connie Smith is one of the most unusual and emotional love stories in the history of country music. For many years, their relationship stayed quiet and mostly private. Even though both of them were well known in the world of music, fans saw them performing together, smiling on stage and supporting each other in public. But very few people truly understood the deeper story behind their bond. What makes their story special is not just their marriage, but how their lives slowly connected over many years in a way that almost feels like fate. Long before fame, award, and recognition, there was simply a young boy with a dream. That boy was Marty Stuart, and his dream was connected to a singer who had already become a star in country music, Connie Smith. Marty grew up loving music deeply. From a very young age, he was fascinated by guitars, songs, and the voices of famous country singers. Among all those voices, one stood out the most to him. It was Connie Smith's voice. She was already known for her powerful singing and emotional songs. When Marty first heard her music, he felt something special that he could not easily explain. Her voice carried pain, beauty, and strength all at the same time. For a young boy who loved country music, she became more than just another singer. She became a symbol of everything he admired about the genre. The moment that changed Marty's life happened when he was only 12 years old. At that age, he had the chance to see Connie Smith perform at a local event. Seeing her in person left a strong impression on him. Many fans admire musicians from a distance, but Marty felt something deeper. He later told people that at that moment, he made a promise to himself. He believed that one day he would marry her. To most people, this sounded like a childish fantasy. His family and friends laughed when he said it. After all, Connie Smith was already an established singer, and Marty was only a young boy with a dream. But Marty never forgot that moment. As the years passed, his passion for music continued to grow stronger. He practiced instruments, learned songs, and slowly became part of the music world himself. His talent helped him gain opportunities that many young musicians only dream about. Eventually, he started performing with respected artists, including the legendary Johnny Cash. Working with such famous musicians helped Marty learn more about the music industry and develop his own style. Yet even as his career grew, the memory of Connie Smith stayed with him. He never forgot the promise he made as a child. Life, however, is rarely simple, especially in the world of entertainment. While Marty was building his career, Connie Smith was living through her own complicated journey. Fame brought success to her, but it also brought pressure and personal struggles. Being a woman in the country music industry during that time was not easy. She faced expectations, emotional challenges, and the difficulties that come with being constantly in the public eye. Over time, she stepped away from the spotlight to focus on her personal life and family. For a while, it seemed like their lives were moving in completely different directions. Yet fate has a strange way of bringing people together when the time is right. Years later, after both had experienced many changes in their lives, Marty Stuart and Connie Smith met again. This meeting was very different from the first time a young boy had seen a famous singer on stage. Now, Marty was a grown man with his own successful career in music. Connie, on the other hand, had become wiser through her life experiences and had a deeper understanding of the industry and herself. Their connection slowly grew stronger, built not only on admiration, but also on respect and shared experiences. What started as a childhood dream slowly turned into something real and meaningful. When Marty Stuart and Connie Smith reconnected as adults, the circumstances were very different from when he was a wide-eyed, 12-year-old boy dreaming from the crowd. Marty had spent decades growing as a musician, performing on stages around the world, and learning the realities of the music industry. He had faced the pressures of fame, rigorous touring schedules, and the challenge of building a reputation among legendary artists. Despite all this, the memory of Connie Smith, the woman who had inspired his earliest dreams, never faded. The reunion happened during a tribute concert, an event meant to honor the history of country music and the contributions of its most beloved artists. For Marty, this was more than just another performance. It was a chance to see Connie Smith again, not just as a legendary singer he had admired from a distance, but as a person who had experienced life's challenges, joys, and hardships just as he had. Connie, for her part, was no longer the young performer navigating the pressures of fame. She had stepped back from the limelight, focusing on raising her children and managing her personal life. Her experiences had shaped her into someone who carried both wisdom and caution, a person who knew the price of being a public figure in a world that often demanded more than it gave. Meeting Marty again, she noticed a change in him. He was no longer the boy who had stared in awe at her performances. He was now a man who carried his own presence, his own accomplishments, and a deep respect for her life journey. Marty's devotion, which had begun as youthful admiration, had matured into a careful, patient love built on understanding, admiration, and empathy. Over time, their connection deepened. Marty made his intentions clear not through grand gestures or public declarations, but through consistent, quiet support and genuine care for Connie's well-being. This was a love that grew slowly, rooted in respect for each other's experiences and an understanding of the private struggles that fame and personal history had imposed upon them. Their relationship faced unique challenges. The age difference between them, Connie was 17 years older, raised questions among some friends and industry observers. Many wondered if their love could withstand the pressures of fame, personal histories, and the weight of expectation. But Marty and Connie seemed less concerned with what others thought than with building a life together that respected their past and nurtured their shared values. Eventually, in 1997, after years of admiration, patience, and emotional understanding, Marty Stuart and Connie Smith married. Their marriage was celebrated quietly, without the fanfare often associated with celebrity weddings. It was a union that reflected the depth of their relationship, the shared understanding of each other's struggles, and the long journey that had brought them together. For Marty, the marriage was a culmination of a lifetime promise he had made to himself as a boy. For Connie, it was a step into a partnership built on patience, respect, and a shared history in country music. Behind the scenes, however, their relationship was about more than love. It was about healing. Connie had faced challenges during her career, including periods of emotional strain, professional setbacks, and personal loss. Marty understood that her resilience and inner strength were as important as her talent. He dedicated himself to supporting her not just as a partner, but as someone who recognized the depth of her experiences and sought to create a life where she could find peace, security, and joy away from the pressures of public performance. Together, they built a world that prioritized quiet moments, reflection, and mutual respect. Their home became a sanctuary, a place where music was cherished but never demanded, where laughter, prayer, and simple routines were valued above public recognition. Friends and family who visited observed a life that felt grounded, authentic, and intimate. Marty's efforts were not about reclaiming the spotlight for Connie, but about preserving her spirit and allowing her to live fully as herself. This period of their lives, away from the stage and the audience, was perhaps one of the most significant chapters in their story. It was a time when both Marty and Connie could heal, nurture their love, and create memories that were private, meaningful, and deeply personal. While the world of country music continued to celebrate their achievements, the true strength of their relationship was found in these quiet, unpublicized moments. The love that had started with admiration in Marty's childhood had evolved into a partnership defined by trust, understanding, and the ability to honor each other's past while building a shared future. This journey from childhood obsession to lifelong partnership demonstrates that true love is not always immediate or simple. Sometimes it grows over decades, shaped by patience, resilience, and mutual respect. And when it reaches its peak, it becomes something profoundly transformative. Marty Stuart and Connie Smith's story reminds us that love can endure beyond fame, beyond public recognition, and beyond the limitations of age or expectation. It is a testament to the quiet, steady power, devotion, empathy, and shared understanding. While the public often saw Marty Stuart and Connie Smith performing together on stage or appearing at award shows, very few people understood the emotional depth and private struggles that shaped their relationship. Both had been deeply affected by the realities of the country music industry, where fame often came with a heavy price. Connie, in particular, had faced challenges that left lasting scars. At the height of her career, she had experienced intense pressures as a female artist in a male-dominated industry. There were expectations for her to perform perfectly, to maintain a specific image, and to meet deadlines that allowed little room for personal reflection or recovery. She also endured private heartbreaks that were never shared publicly, from personal losses to periods of mental strain and deep loneliness. These experiences shaped her life and made her cautious about the people she trusted. Marty understood all of this from the beginning. He had observed her career and her private moments with respect and empathy, even as a young admirer. He recognized that Connie's voice was not only a gift, but a reflection of the struggles and victories she had endured. By the time they reconnected, Marty was no longer just a boy in awe of her talent. He had become a man with his own understanding of fame, music, and personal growth. He approached their relationship with patience and sensitivity, recognizing that Connie's trust and comfort were far more important than public recognition or appearances. Their private life became a sanctuary, deliberately removed from the glare of stage lights and audience scrutiny. Marty created an environment in which Connie could be herself, without performance expectations or public demands. Together, they built routines centered on reflection, faith, and quiet joy. Prayer and music remained central, but these were no longer for an audience. They were for personal healing, connection, and love. They established spaces where they could retreat from the world, including a small chapel in their home. Here, Connie could sing softly, sometimes barely above a whisper, while Marty accompanied her on the mandolin or guitar. These were not performances, but intimate acts of expression, devotion, and solace. Marty understood that true support meant creating a life that honored Connie's experiences rather than trying to change or erase them. Beyond their personal connection, Marty also took responsibility for preserving Connie's legacy within the broader country music world. He refused to allow her contributions to be forgotten or overlooked, and he actively worked to protect the stories, performances, and music of both her and other forgotten legends. He often spoke of the cost of fame and the way the music industry could chew up talented artists and leave them behind. Through his efforts, Marty provided recognition, respect, and opportunities for those whose contributions were at risk of being lost. This was a mission fueled not just by admiration, but by love, a desire to honor the woman who had inspired him from his earliest years. However, even within this devotion, there were moments of profound challenge. Both Marty and Connie carried the emotional weight of past losses, and there were private experiences they never shared with anyone. Some sources suggest that they endured personal heartbreaks together, quietly supporting each other without making them public. Marty's approach was never to erase Connie's pain, but to honor it, allowing her to navigate her healing on her own terms, while remaining a steadfast presence by her side. He often spoke cryptically about these experiences in interviews, mentioning songs you only sing in empty rooms or notes left unsent, hinting at a lifetime of private reflection and shared challenges. Their home, away from the public eye, became a space of stillness, a retreat where the two could live fully as themselves, free from scrutiny. Here, they engaged in simple yet meaningful acts, sharing meals, listening to old records, praying together, and preserving memories through music and personal artifacts. Marty's dedication to Connie's well-being went beyond romantic love. It extended to creating a life in which she could feel safe, appreciated, and respected in every aspect. The couple's relationship demonstrates a rare kind of devotion, one where love is measured not by public gestures or accolades, but by the quiet consistency of care, understanding, and empathy. Even as they maintained a presence in the country music world, the heart of their story remained private. This is a relationship built on patience, respect, and deep emotional intelligence, showing that love can survive not just the trials of life, but also the intense scrutiny of fame, industry pressures, and personal history. Marty Stuart's commitment to Connie Smith exemplifies a unique combination of reverence, partnership, and protection. He didn't merely marry a music legend. He embraced the challenges, history, and emotional depth that came with her life, demonstrating that true love often requires profound understanding, patience, and the courage to step back from the public eye in order to prioritize another person's peace and healing. Through this quiet devotion, Marty ensured that Connie's spirit, talent, and humanity remain intact, preserving not just a marriage, but a legacy of love, resilience, and respect for decades to come. As the years progressed, Marty Stuart's role in country music evolved far beyond that of a performer. While many fans admired his flashy jackets, commanding stage presence, and musical talent, those closest to him knew that his true passion lay in preserving the history, legacy, and soul of country music. And in many ways, that mission was inseparable from his love for Connie Smith. After marrying Connie, Marty became increasingly aware of how easily the contributions of legendary artists could be forgotten, distorted, or overshadowed by commercial pressures. He observed that even the most iconic performers, especially women like Connie, often face unique challenges in a male-dominated industry that demanded perfection, youth, and constant public visibility. Marty had first-hand experience of fame's highs and lows, but his dedication to Connie deepened his understanding of the fragility of musical legacy. He became what many describe as a protector, a man intent not just on preserving songs and performances, but on honoring the people behind them, their stories, and their unspoken struggles. This commitment manifested in multiple ways. Marty refused to prioritize mainstream commercial success over authenticity. He turned down record deals that would have required him to compromise his values or the dignity of the artists he admired. Instead, he focused on independent projects, his own label, and collaborative performances that highlighted both established and forgotten legends. In particular, he sought to bring Connie's voice back into the consciousness of country music lovers, but in a way that respected her privacy and choice. He never forced her into public appearances or demanded performances. Rather, he created opportunities for her to be celebrated when she felt ready. Beyond the stage, Marty became a caretaker of country music history. He collected instruments, memorabilia, and recordings, often restoring forgotten artifacts that told stories of lives and careers that could otherwise have vanished. These actions were more than preservation. They were a statement of respect for the people who had shaped the genre. Marty understood that the soul of country music was not only in its songs, but in the human experiences behind them. Triumphs, heartbreaks, sacrifices, and lessons learned through decades of creativity and struggle. Marty and Connie's private life mirrored this philosophy. Away from the public eye, they cultivated a world rooted in stability, reflection, and healing. Their Tennessee home became a sanctuary, a space where the pressures of fame were replaced with stillness, prayer, and shared moments of love. Connie could sing, write, and reflect without judgment or expectation, while Marty offered constant support and companionship. The couple's approach to life was deliberate. They valued quiet victories over public accolades. Friends recall that many artists sought advice, comfort, or mentorship from Marty and Connie, and the couple welcomed these interactions without fanfare. Marty's devotion to Connie and the broader musical community demonstrated a rare understanding. Legacy is only meaningful if it protects the dignity and well-being of those who contribute to it. Even as Marty's own performances continued to draw admiration, his personal focus shifted toward ensuring that other stories were remembered with integrity. This included acknowledging the emotional, spiritual, and personal histories that often remain hidden behind the spotlight. Through this work, Marty revealed a crucial truth about love, music, and life. Supporting someone fully often requires sacrifice, patience, and commitment to their autonomy and peace. He recognized that Connie's past, her struggles, and her experiences were inseparable from the person she had become, and honoring that meant allowing her the space to heal, choose, and thrive at her own pace. Their story also teaches lessons about resilience and partnership. Love, they demonstrated, is not solely about shared moments in the spotlight or public accolades. It is about understanding, empathy, and creating environments in which both people can grow without losing themselves. Marty's protective devotion was not performative. It was lived daily in countless small choices, acts of consideration, and efforts to preserve dignity, legacy, and peace. Beyond the personal, Marty Stuart's evolution highlights a broader commentary on the music industry. By advocating for overlooked artists, rescuing forgotten performances, and creating safe spaces for personal expression, he challenged norms that prioritize profit and visibility over artistic integrity and human experience. Through this lens, his marriage to Connie Smith can be seen not only as a love story, but also as a model of stewardship, a partnership in which devotion to another person aligns with a mission to protect, preserve, and honor the wider community. Ultimately, Marty's greatest contributions, both to Connie and to country music, extend beyond the applause of fans, the trophies on shelves, or the bright lights of stage. His work reflects a profound understanding that the truest legacies are built not just on performance, but on care, respect, and the conscious choice to honor the full humanity of those we love and admire. For Marty and Connie, love and preservation became inseparable, and their story reminds the world that sometimes the quietest acts of devotion leave the most lasting impact. It is a testament to a life lived in reverence for the past, a life dedicated to another person's peace, and a love that nurtures both heart and history. Now, at 66, Marty Stuart has reached a point of quiet reflection that few fans fully understand. After decades in the music industry, after performing on some of the world's biggest stages, after preserving and honoring countless forgotten legends, he had begun to speak publicly about the deepest, most personal part of his life, his marriage to Connie Smith. But this revelation is not about gossip, sensationalism, or fame. It is about acknowledgement, reverence, and the recognition of a partnership that shaped not only his personal life, but his entire approach to music and legacy. Marty's opening up at this stage of life is significant because it provides a rare glimpse into a love story that has always existed in the shadows of the public spotlight. While fans knew of their marriage, the depth of understanding, mutual healing, and emotional labor involved remained largely invisible. Marty speaks about Connie not only as a talented artist or an inspiration for his own musical journey, but as a living testament to resilience, faith, and the enduring power of human connection. He reflects on their earliest moments together, recalling how he had idolized her as a 12-year-old boy and how that admiration evolved over decades into a profound understanding of her as a person. He acknowledges the patience required, the decades-long observation, and the quiet commitment necessary to honor her autonomy, her past, and her emotional journey. At 66, Marty is candid about the sacrifices and decisions that define their shared life. He speaks of turning down tours, declining opportunities, and stepping back from the limelight when it threatened to disrupt Connie's peace. He recounts building a sanctuary in their Tennessee home, a place of prayer, music, and reflection, where they could nurture each other without external pressures. This space was not just about comfort. It was about creating conditions in which healing and growth could take place. Marty also reflects on the lessons learned from Connie's experiences in the music industry, the heartbreak, the isolation, and the loss of self that often accompanied public success. He has observed how fame can strip away identity, leaving even the most talented individuals vulnerable. By consciously creating a life that honored Connie's dignity and emotional well-being, he transformed his own perspective on music, career, and the meaning of legacy. His reflections are filled with humility and admiration. He speaks not of personal accolades, Grammy wins, or Hall of Fame inductions, but the quiet victories achieved through patience, respect, and devotion. To Marty, the most important measure of success is not recognition, but the ability to safeguard another person's peace and to preserve the stories and voices that might otherwise be lost. Even at this stage of life, Marty remains dedicated to the broader mission of honoring country music's heritage. His work as a historian, collector, and mentor continues, but is infused with lessons learned through his partnership with Connie. He now understands that preservation is not merely about artifacts or performances. It is about understanding the human experiences that shape the music, honoring the pain and triumphs of those who lived it, and ensuring that future generations can appreciate not just the songs, but the lives behind them. Marty's public acknowledgement of Connie at 66 serves as a reminder of the power of lifelong devotion. It demonstrates that love is not always about grand gestures or public validation, but about the continuous, thoughtful decisions made every day to support, protect, and respect another person. By sharing his reflections now, Marty is not seeking attention or praise. He is offering insight into the profound journey of two people navigating fame, personal trauma, and mutual growth while remaining steadfast in their commitment to each other. The story of Marty Stuart and Connie Smith is therefore not just a tale of musical achievement or celebrity. It is a testament to the quiet strength found in empathy, patience, and understanding. It illustrates how love can be transformative, how devotion can preserve legacy, and how personal commitment can inspire broader stewardship in an entire community. Marty's reflections at 66 highlight that the most meaningful accomplishments in life are often private, lived in the still moment away from the stage, where presence, respect, and shared history carry more weight than applause ever could. In revealing this part of his story, he honors Connie, their journey together, and the countless untold stories of artists whose voices, struggles, and triumphs deserve recognition and reverence. Their life together serves as a model for understanding love, legacy, and the human cost of brilliance, showing that true devotion is measured not in public accolades, but but in the quiet care, protection, and acknowledgement of another person's heart and history. Today, Marty Stuart and Connie Smith live a life that balances reflection, devotion, and the quiet power of mutual respect. For fans, their story is often seen through performances, awards, and appearances at the Grand Ole Opry or on television specials. But the truth of their life together is found in the private, unrecorded moments that no stage or microphone can capture. Over decades, they built a sanctuary not just for themselves, but for the music, traditions, and stories that matter most. Marty continues to preserve country music history through his collections, museums, and mentorship, but is now in